Hey everybody and welcome to more Heroes of the Storm on Khaldor TV. Today we have a pretty cool game from the ZOTAC Cup, the last ZOTAC Cup that was just played a few days ago on Dragon Shire. The Goofers, we've seen them in the last few videos, are going up against Kinguin. And this is of course a whole different ball game today. Kinguin is a very solid team, one of the best probably that we have in the scene right now, definitely one of the top 5, but they had a few lineup changes in the recent past as well. Antihero left the team and now Kinguin is playing with Norok, who is a former Team Dignitas player. Dignitas unfortunately disbanded and the players were looking for new teams. Chris is playing for Rocket now and we're having Norok here just now joining up with Kinguin, so it's going to be still a bit of an adjustment phase, I want to say, and that is of course a chance that the Goofers have to take them out here. The game is going to be a fun one on Dragon Shire. We have a best of 1 and we see the Butcher once again, this time on the side of the Goofers, playing him actually also together with Uther. And that's of course extremely important since in this case you can use the Divine Shield to make sure that the Butcher is not getting stunned out so that he can really build up that momentum that you need. Whereas we have on the other side of the setup, of course, for Kinguin, not only a Johanna in there, but also we're running this again with the Khaldor. There's even a Tassadar in the mix, so that you can have a bit more of a sustain for your team. So guys, let's jump right into it and see which team is going to take it here and advances in the tournament. Is it going to be Kinguin or the Goofers? We're going to find out right now. Alrighty everybody, game on Dragon Shire. Kinguin versus the Goofers, and this is gonna be a good one. The lineups are great, and we have Nepse on Rega, Gert am Herd on Tassadar, Invidum on Khaldor, Norok, who replaces Antihero for the team, is playing Johanna. We have Snow on Zagara, and on the right side of the map, it's of course the Goofers once again, and they went straight for a first pick on the Butcher. Oh, fresh meat. And together with the Butcher, we have Smexy style on Uther for that nasty Divine Shield. And by the way, talking about him, he is on Falstad, Mopsio on Murden, and Lotus on Malfurion. Alright boys, this is going to be fun. I can feel it. This is going to be a great game, and we are of course casting it, and it is going to be awesome. So, first of all, I want to welcome also here now officially on stream Norok to Team Kinguin. Norok, an absolutely amazing player, was part of Team Dignitas for a long time, and Dignitas of course they disbanded. They were all like looking for new teams, and as Antihero left or was like let gone, they have now picked up Norok, and I think it's a great addition to the team now. Nice attack here already, nasty, extremely low, but so is it Vito, man! The shield in the last second, but Mopsio, he really wants him, and he doesn't get him. So a pretty awesome brawl here early on in the game with nobody dying. Victus on the Butcher goes on level 1 straight for Invigoration. The main thing about this talent is not really the mana. You don't have mana problems later on in the game. And normally, like as a rule of thumb, of course there are exceptions, just as a rule of thumb, talents that reduce mana costs are in most cases garbage. It's actually awesome that we have Rega currently in the game, because Rega is the one exception. We have him with the reduce on the chain heal from 70 to 45, which is these days actually viable, and that's mostly because of course a few of the talents changed in the recent past. Oftentimes it was the healing totem, but it got nerfed a bit, so now on Rega you have basically 3 choices that you can go for. But in most cases, mana reduction talents are pretty bad. In this case, on the other hand, well, we're going to talk about that a bit, as we are seeing the kill against Khaldor, the first one. Talking about the Butcher again and about the level 1 talent, it's not so much about the mana reduction. That of course comes quite handy in the early game, but late game and late mid game you don't really need that anymore. It's about that cooldown reduction that you have by 1 second on the hamstring, and hamstring on the Butcher is just great. Like, he's an amazing melee assassin, and the one thing that he really needs is momentum. In that regard, is actually very similar to a Thrall, and he will be used in exactly the same manner. You try to just get him. You need to build up the momentum with Butcher in a fight. If you go for the Butcher's brand and then try to heal yourself up again, you can really do a lot and have that sustain, but what you need for that is of course then later on the Divine Shield and Uther, which is exactly the reason why you oftentimes see him played in that combination. So this is no exception, but of course we have a lot of damage and also interrupts on the side of Kinguin, and they have both of those shrines taken and are trying to go straight for the first Dragonite in the game. Butcher, by the way, goes for Unrelenting Pursuit. Yeah, reduces the cooldown of the Ruthless Onslaught, and that is actually a pretty interesting talent because, well, Ruthless Onslaught has an absolutely incredible high cooldown, and well, for now at least, there's no more butchering to be done because that bad boy already went down in flames. So good kill here from Kinguin, getting that one in. The teams, of course, in general, Kinguin, the better team, the favorite in the series, but we've seen the Goofers in a lot of finals just in the recent past. These guys have been doing very well, and now, of course, it's going to become a bit more dangerous for them going into these rounds, since, well, right now they have to face very strong opponents. With a level 4 talent we have on Rhaegar, again, the Feral Heart, pretty common to see that talent here. Mental acuity for Tassadar to get that extra vision, and with all of those bushes that we see on the map, it's of course quite common to see that talent here. Looks like they are trying to go for the mid lane to deny that. Well, there is again Uther. Uther, by the way, is still going on level 1 for the Conjurer's Pursuit, which you don't see all that often anymore. Oftentimes it's just reach that has been taken here. The important thing on the Butcher is of course also that you need to just like get that fresh meat in, and now that he already died, he lost all the 25 stacks that he had, which is the maximum if you don't take the talent. So in this case he needed to just like build those up again for the damage. Before that, the Butcher usually doesn't do too much, but if you keep those fresh meat stacks up, you can get a lot of damage on the board, and we're gonna talk about that later on now as well. Besides this, not too many talents taken. It's actually interesting that we are seeing now also Gathering Power taking Fell Infusion on level 1. Not really too worried about the mana here. Get Amherd is currently moving back. It's a 4 versus 3 down in the bot lane. The Ruthless Onslaught already used, and they are going for the Butcher again, and they're gonna get him. He didn't even get a chance to apply his Butcher's brand to an opponent and heal himself up again. Mobsio jumping back, and so far Kinguin more or less in full control of the game here, about to get the first Dragonite if they move in with this one right now. And as you can see here, we see Brutal Strike being used for the Butcher. It's pretty cool to see again a different build. We've seen Lowell on the first 3 talents for Fnatic using all the hamstring talents, then JPL used a different build as well, focusing a lot more on the trade on the passive with his talent choices on 1, 4 and 7. So it's kind of interesting to see that there's still a lot of variations out there. Victus is using basically the same build that Lowell used, just with the exception that he doesn't go for the extra range on hamstring, but for the reduction on the cooldown for Ruthless Onslaught. With Ruthless Onslaught, it's a great talent if you really want to just initiate and just rush in, but the problem is of course always that cooldown, which is exactly why we see the reduction coming into play here. With the Dragonite, it's an interesting rotation that we see, like a 4-man rotation to the bot lane, nobody in mid. Oftentimes what happens when you have the Dragonite is that you're starting to split your team a bit so that the Dragonite pressures one lane. You don't even have to go full in with this, like you usually try to preserve the Dragonite for as long as you can. Just threaten the wall, always go for the Breath of Fire, and then the rest of your team is pushing in a different lane. But right now they went all for the same one. We're having Falset in the game now as well, and he went for Secret Weapon after Power Throw and Gathering Power here as his talents. So a pretty normal build for him. It's a bit of a hybrid with the potential to later on, after you go for, well, you could go for example on 16 for Overdrive if you really want to increase the burst on your skills, but most of the time we're seeing still a Giant Killer on 13 taken if you go into Secret Weapon, just because it's more of an auto attack build, and that means that Falset also becomes a lot stronger once he gets the level 20 talent and goes into Nexus Frenzy, which is always the goal in the long run. Yeah, level 10 abilities are now there, and that is exactly what they use to steal that camp away. Normally it's really too tricky or too risky to steal this one out, but since they had a time window where they had their heroic abilities, they just said, alright, let's take our own Siege Giants, which they did, steal those of our opponent away. They get of course taken out within seconds, but the main idea is that you don't allow your opponent to get them. Zagara is still battling with Malfurion up at the top, and look at that creep spread. Really good vision that we have here. And Lotus, even with Moonfire, is apparently struggling to take those down. Zagara went for Endless Creep, which makes it a bit more difficult for Malfurion to really detect the spots where the creep tumors are. But still, it is like he should be able to force the creep back a bit more than that. With a low cooldown on Moonfire, that's normally Malfurion's job to go for that if you don't have a Tassadar in your composition. Furnace taken as the heroic ability on the side of the Butcher. We're having also the... Actually, I really like the Falset with this. The more I think about that Butcher-Falset combination, the more I like it. As Falset, of course, you try to rely on a stun so that you can get the extra damage in with your Hinterland Blast. And that is exactly what the Butcher applies. We've seen a lot of combinations where the Butcher was trying to just like get a stun follow-up with Tyrande, which is very, very good. If you have him with Uther, then the Divine Shield is just like so important for you. But together with the Falstat, you have a really interesting lockdown situation there. Victus actually drops out of the game and is immediately back. But I kind of like that. I mean, Malfurion, for example, has roots, could go for Tenacious Roots on level 16 to lock a target that the Butcher attacks down even more. Then again, you have Nasty with that extra damage. We're having also mobs here who could jump in. But right now, in this game now in particular, of course, the team that is still making the plays is definitely it's definitely like the blue team here. During the pauses, you can see that the actually like the death timers over there, the kills are not accurate. Like 0 kills for the blue team currently shown. That is going to be corrected once that the pause is over, because we have Kinguin with several kills already. So it's a little bit of a weird display bug, to be honest. Like the last time when I saw that, I really thought it was genuine. I was just like, okay, apparently I missed a few things in the game. But yeah, so they're ready, and you can see how that is going to change in just a few seconds. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that. So 2 kills against 1, a level lead that we are now seeing, and of course they're still a bit away from level 13 and that extra talent, but still. The fight is happening at the top lane maybe. Nope, it's both of those shrines that are taken again, and now they are moving straight into the mid lane once more, where we already have mobs here just waiting. It's still a fight on even talent, if it actually happens. Smexy style, okay, stuns it out once, but up here at the top, they need someone, like, what? Alright, then just let them have it, I guess. Like, yeah. That was interesting. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it was an interesting decision. I mean, you are there with your Uther, you know what's going on, but you don't do anything about it, so I'm a little bit confused, to be quite frank. I'm not quite sure what happened with that, but yeah, I would have expected them to at least try and take it, but they didn't. So they are just defending against that Dragon Knight, and yeah, at the same time they're losing a fort up at the top lane. Like, the rotation here is just much better from Kinguin. The Goofers definitely running in a bit of a trap. Maybe they needed their healer in the fight and were just telling him, alright, no matter if they get the Dragon Knight or not, if you don't come up here, we're gonna lose too many heroes, so just do it now. We're gonna end up losing the Dragon Knight anyways if we lose that fight here. Maybe that was the reason behind it, but whatever it was, they gave that up. Like, they must have known that they are giving up the Dragon Knight. So the second Dragon Knight in game now, and as you can see, that increased the gap between the two in experience by half a level, nearly 2 levels actually. I mean, we're talking about nearly level 14 versus level 12. That's also an extra talent that they have right now. With, first of all, Flamethrower, we have a Shrink Ray taken. Shrink Ray is going to be really good against the Butcher. Then we're also seeing now Holy Ground in this case. Yeah, I'm actually like really curious how exactly the Goofers are planning to come back into this game, because at this point things are starting to look a bit grim for them. They still have no access to level 13. The camp is getting stolen away again. I like that from Kinguin, that they go for it, that they really use this. Also, I like that Invidium is not really afraid to throw out that Phoenix. I mean, that Phoenix is in the perfect spot, as you can see here. So it covers like all 3 areas, which is very, very good. And the cooldown is so low that you don't really worry about that too much. Right now, down here, I mean, let's see what exactly they can do with that. Maybe they have an opportunity to take that talent now and go for a fight, and that is exactly what they're trying to do. Victis is not going for the Ruthless Onslaught just yet. Needs to be careful here. Still, Mobsios in the middle of things. Here's the Ruthless Onslaught, and immediately the Hinterland Blast. But even with the Furnace, it's not enough damage. Nepse is getting slammed into the ground though. Rhaegar already down, and you could really tell how much damage Victis does now. Oh, and Erla, did you see that? Really nice. Gets another Ruthless Onslaught in the middle of the fight, and that's exactly where the level 4 talent is really starting to pay off. But of course the extra range on Hamstring would have been nice in a few of those situations as well. With the 13 talent, the Butcher is going straight for a more defensive stance, going straight into a spell shield, and I really like that, especially against the Kelthas. You are already a killing machine, and the only thing that you really need in a situation like this is a bit more survivability in these battles, and that's something that he gets with it. Muradin decided to go into Burning Rage. I guess if you need the extra damage, and in this setup they probably do, it's quite valid to use that talent. Instead, he could have taken also a spell shield there, which makes him even more tanky. We have also for Malfurion now Ice Block, which is also pretty cool. And interestingly enough, for Malfurion we are seeing also a Shrink Ray. Wondering who exactly they're going to shrink there. Maybe Johanna trying to just like diminish her control a bit. Top lane is being pushed now, and with that they will take down a few of the structures. They're really trying to close the experience gap and make sure that they are on even level with their opponents. Problematic is that Tassadar down here at the bot lane has a pretty sick camp that he can now use to burst through the wall at the keep. Oh wow, that stun against Uther is a bit of a problem. And here comes the more damage already dealt, but Victis, are they gonna try and go in with a Ruthless Onslaught? Yes, he goes straight for Johanna, but she already activated the trade. Nothing that the Butcher could do in this situation. The bot lane still being pushed, but Gad is starting to move in. Now it's a 5 versus 5. And Gad with a storm. And they have their 16 talent. There comes Ignite. Mopsio is just barely surviving. Decent hinterland blast. Victus is being saved once again, but thanks to Condemn, he's being pulled back in. And now the Butcher is dead and has to make sure that he gathers that fresh meat again. Everybody else was able to run away. Uh-oh, except for Mopsio, who's now dying to that. Yep. Get blown up to pieces, my friend. Pew, pew. Nasty trying to capture this one. Oh, Gad got interrupted by Smexy style. Well done. So that buys them a bit more time. But Nasty, of course, has to run away since there's already Neps and they still have that level 16 talent. They're on level 17 by now. And up here, Get Amhead is going straight for that Dragonite. That's the third one that they have in this game now. So they are starting to move to the right again. Like a quick kick. And yeah, without the 16 talent, there's very little the Goofers can do now. They need to get that talent fast. Now when it comes to Malfurion, by the way, it's once again on level 1 Moonburn with the increased damage to minions and mercenaries. Illumin's Grace for the range on all of the basic abilities. And in this case, Enduring Growth over a potential cleanse that they could have also taken here. I love the Rhaegar talent going into the cooldown reduction. If you heal 3 allies is absolutely amazing. It's really, really good. I was always wondering if you could maybe even combine that with the battle momentum on level 7 and try to just like spam those chain waves out, those chain heals later on in the game. More of a troll build probably than anything else, but I feel like in one of those quick matches, you know, you could really try and go for it. Battle momentum, Rhaegar incoming. Yeah, it doesn't, like in my head it sounds funny, but I think it's probably not going to be a serious build at anytime soon. Here comes another potential team fight now, and now we have with level 16 also Enraged. That should help the Butcher. It looked, oh, full stat! Yeah, well, try to get some damage in, but unfortunately not really hitting anything with this one. Here's once again Victus, and he just hammers Johanna into the ground. There's nothing she can do. That was the Butcher is a monster. He's really a monster. If he gains momentum and now he also has those fresh meat charges, he can do so much. Even with him dying 3 times, being focused in every single team fight, he's still looking at 16,000 damage, which is definitely nothing to write home about. It's not like he's gonna write that letter and like, hey mom, today I did 16,000 damage. That's not gonna happen, but still, like, it's solid. He has a pretty difficult job right now. Smexy style, of course, should always be ready with the Divine Shield, but I mean, you could see how they try to focus him down every single time he moves in, and for good reason. If you just let him do his thing, then your team is going to be ground into the dust in just a few seconds. If you look at the damage, on the other hand, then that Keltas dishes out after level 16 now, then you already know what you're going to see there. It's a pretty incredible number, 47,000 already. But yeah, let's see how that game is going to progress here. Again, the on-charge. The problem is that he's also charging against heroes where I think that you should maybe not go for. Charging a Johanna doesn't make too much sense. Charging Get Amhead doesn't make too much sense either. Both of them have a great escape, and if they use it, then there's very little that you can do. Like, the Ruthless Onslaught really relies a lot on the stun as well. You want to get that stun as a setup for the rest of their team to follow up. Follow it up with another stun, follow it up with more damage, with like a burst damage, for example, on the side of Nasty here. Those things really matter. If you can get that in, then it's great, but going for Tassadar or Johanna might not be the smartest move in this case. Be that as it may, we're having, right now, Smexy style, Victus and Mopsio once again moving down to the bot lane. There's also a lot of vision on the map thanks to Zagara and her creep, but Mopsio is now protecting that keep. It's still a level difference between the two teams, and of course we have 4 kills against 3. If you look at the game itself, then yes, Kinguin has been doing a lot better than their opponent, but all that matters here is what happens at level 20, and I think we are starting to maneuver into a position in the game where both of these teams have a fair chance to reach that level without maybe even dropping a keep there. The next Dragonite is going to be extremely important. Those early ones definitely do work, but it is the late game Dragonites that are the ones that really matter. And this is one of those things that could definitely tip the scales in favor of the Goofers, and Kinguin is up at the top and they are losing a lot of the structures down at the bot lane already. We're having Falstad in well, a bit of trouble. Barrel rolled right into the flame strike. That's probably a pretty shitty feeling. 20 versus 18, and there they are. Double blink on Zagara and Kelthas. If you time that right, then you can escape the Ruthless Onslaught as well. as also indestructible and a few mortals that they can use in these fights. It's still an entire level that they need. You don't want to fight there, but it's of course smart to move up to the top and try and capture this one out. And it just barely works out. Delay tactics, that's all that you need right now. Nasty moved back immediately and just said like, alright boys, I know that I have to move away here as fast as I can because they're going to try and do the same thing once more and capture both of these shrines. So that's what they're currently trying to do here. Level 20 is still far away off, and with that, I don't really think that they can deny that Dragon Knight long enough, especially with Zagara already capturing the top shrine. So they're trying it in the bot lane. They're going for that fight. They're really going for it, but they're not going to get it. That Dragon Knight is going to happen, and there it is. Dragon Knight number 4 for Kinguin, and they are going to use that to move into the mid, maybe even the bot lane, and try to drop the first keep, and I guess that's exactly what's going to happen there. So at this point we have them moving down to the bot lane, trying to kill the keep over here, and there's still no 20, and without the 20 you don't want to fight. Talent disadvantages in Heroes of the Storm are just like the biggest thing ever. Nurok is going to try and kill this one, and of course all the waves count now. That's exactly why Mopsio is here, trying to get those waves, but there is again Nurok going for the kill, and they still do not have 20, and they're like, guys, we can't fight, but we kind of have to. We don't want to lose the second keep, but it is going to happen. Keep number 2 is down. Up here at the top, Nasty is trying to get more experience down here. A few more waves are dying, and here comes level 20 in just a second. Can they still turn this around, though? Now every fight will be on even footing, but the problem is really they lost so much already. Oh, that burst against the Dragon Knight. Wow. Nurok loses all his hit points within seconds, but yeah, he didn't only have like 20 seconds of the decay anyways. Now they're starting to move in. They're all very low already. That's why Lotus is already using his Tranquility to try and keep them alive. Good hit this time against Invidium. Storm Shield being used, and nice more to counteract the Butcher. Very well done. The Furnace not doing anything. Uses Blink and moves away. Also another Storm Shield for Malfurion. Hardened Shield on Murden, and Murden is jumping in. He won scared, and that heal. Wow. Really well done, but in the end he dies anyways. So much damage, but Smaxy Style is also dying here. He has Redemption though, and that really helps him to now get those heals, and Redemption is absolutely amazing. Like that mini cooldown that you have on your heal, and then you're back to business after just a short while. So they get the kill in. It's 4 kills versus 5. The big problem is of course still that we are in a situation where 2 of the keeps were eliminated. A massive wave is moving in up at the top lane to drop one of those forts, and that would actually be the first fort that dies in the game on the side of Kinguin. Kinguin has done an amazing job keeping their structures ready, but well, as I said, this game isn't over yet. It's of course looking really good for Kinguin, but fights are important now. The death timers are very high. We are talking 70 seconds here, and that means that once that battle ends in favor of one of the teams, you can start to take down structures. So let's see if the Goofers stand a chance here, or if it's already all over, just a cleanup job for their opponents. Talking damage again, 77,000 on the side of Khaldor, no surprise there. We're talking about the Butcher, we have him at 23,000. Not really getting as much work done as he was probably hoping for. 120,000 siege damage, by the way, on the side of Murder. Just saying, alright? 120,000. Pretty respectable. If you look at Murden's build, he went, in this case, still straight for the Reverberation and Thunderburn build, but with Battle Momentum and also Burning Rage, you can get a lot of numbers out there. The Shrines activate again, and maybe this could be the first Dragon Knight that we're going to see for the Goofers. And, well, with the Dragon Knight, they could really do a whole lot. That wave alone, I mean, if they get, for example, this wave in together with the Bruiser Camp, that would eliminate the fort up at the top, but it's all about positioning right now. Bottom shrine belongs already to the blue team. Here comes Nurok, he's up at the top. Mopsio is there as well. The entire team is there except for Falstad, who's currently capturing out the shrine at the bot lane. They're still not trying to fight, but all of a sudden it's 2 of the shrines that belong to the red team. And this is the chance that the Goofers wanted, the chance that they needed. And maybe they can use that to come back into the series here. Right now we're having Nasty getting in a position. Mopsio is there as well. They're trying to go for the team fight. Victis has to wait for a good target. Can he maybe go for Snow, or can he go for Nepsa, which would be even better? They're trying to go, and again! I think really this is a mistake. Victis is charging the wrong heroes. Immediately the first thing that happens is Gerd going into his dimensional shift, and that's already it. Victis already dropping here after he used that charge, but I'm really not liking this. I really think that he goes for the wrong targets. Johanna is a very, very bad target to go for, and so is Tacita. If he still has dimensional shift up, he's simply going to use it, and then the Butcher will never really get that stun in, so he needs to be careful who he charges. It's very difficult. I mean, nearly all of the heroes here have an escape by now, but you can try and go for Nepsa, and even hitting one of those heroes that have blink is a bit easier, because they won't be able to break it that easily. But right now we're having Victus still in position here. There's already the Phoenix, so he needs to be careful when he comes back that he is not getting taken out there. The top camp, by the way, as we already said, is eventually going to drop this fort, so that's going to happen. And yeah, let's check out how this fight is going to end, because right now the Butcher is moving back. We have mobs who are still up at the top. Can't be seen just now, and they're moving in. They're still trying to go in. There's already the first bolt of the Storm. They're moving straight in. A good kill against Tesla. Really well done by Nasty. Hinterland Blast doing work, and just like that, Kinguin is behind when it comes to the hero numbers. 4 versus 5, and Dragonite number 5 goes straight to the Goofers. They took the fort at the top lane with a wave, and they have now a massive Dragonite. 22 minutes in, going for the fort, and he already does 1,000 damage and more. So it's just like 4 or 5 hits. That's all that you need to drop a fort. Very well done here, but Falset is dead as well. And now they have to start fighting here again, kicking Invidium away, trying to get rid of the damage. Nuruk is in a bit of trouble on the other hand. He gets healed, but Indestructible has already procced. So that is still one of those talents that he will have to wait until it's ready again, but at least for now he's back to business. He's moving in again, gets stunned. Can they kick him away? Maybe like drop him? Doesn't really look like it. Victis moving away on his Butcher. Does he have another chance to maybe charge Invidium? I think like a lot of these heroes already used their escape skills, so now he might have a chance to get in for him. And Invidium has already the Phoenix back to business. Wow. The problem is that we still have the Catapult starting to do damage against the core, and with 82%, it might not be crucial just yet, but every single percent that you lose on the core health is, of course, a problem. A 5 versus 5 once again. He has that charge and was cleansed out. Cleanse, such an important tool against the Butcher as well. And there it is, the Hinterland Blast again. Invidium, I can't believe that he survives here. And he gets the damage in again. Wow. The balls on this guy. Moving in and just saying like, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother. They didn't kill the fort over here. Victis canceled his ruthless onslaught. They just do not get those kills in. The kill against Kalthas would have been such an important one, but they were not able to deliver in the end. Talking about damage here, once again, the Butcher is starting to close that gap to at least Muradin. He's actually getting a lot of damage in here by now, but then again, if you look at Kelthas, we have 107,000, 109,000 of damage, and that is just increasing with every single flame strike that he throws out here. Smexy style is also moving away, and Victis, he should survive this. Yeah, he should. So he moves back, but, well, we have the entire Kinguin team starting to move in once again. By the way, can't believe that they didn't take down that fort. Not that it really matters too much. It's only, well, what does it actually matter? Let's talk about this for a second. Whoever moves in later is going to kill that with 1 hit. So it's not really an issue since they are already both in level 22. But it's like a matter of, I don't know. Like, I really think you should kill stuff like that. You know, like it's a principle that counts. Either way, 5 kills against 6, so they're still very close in kills, but, well, we have the next Dragonite gonna come up very soon again. It's just really these last 2 fights that we've seen. I mean, Kinguin's Invidium surviving on Kelthas, just barely. Victis trying to get those moves in. That cleanse is just such an important tool when you have that on Orega now as well. Most of the healers have it except for Lily. So we have 4 heroes with cleanse in the game now, and cleanse against the Butcher's charge is just absolutely amazing. That Ruthless Onslaught is just like so good, and you can really tell that he can do a lot of work and damage, but so far Kinguin is playing very well around the hero, and I'm really liking the way that they run this. They have the advantage of killing 2 keeps early, but can they win the game? It's really all about the teamfights right now. A single teamfight that you lose can mean game. So again, wow, they really want this camp. Oh my god, they really want the camp. And they go straight for the stun. They're trying to take out Nurok. Here comes the heal already. There's the Maw and the Ruthless Onslaught, but cleansed out again. The Furnace still hitting though, and there is finally another attempt to drop Nurok, but the shield is already low. Invincible has been procced. It looks like he might go down, but yeah, they just can't drop Johanna. It's crazy. Just look at Smexy Style. He's nearly dead again, trying to heal out everybody here, but the entire team is still alive. Victus is low, so is Smexy Style. Smexy Style is not going to survive here. Once again in Ghost form, can at least keep Muradin alive, I suppose. But yeah, they looked like they would get the kill against Johanna, but as it happens, they are not able to drop her. So unfortunate for them. Smexy Star, of course, thanks to Redemption, is back to business once again. But we have once more a Dragonite attempt, and now Mopsy has to fight for it, and he might die. Divine Shield in the last second, keeping him alive. The question only is for how much longer. They need to fight this one, and Malfurion isn't even with them. He's now moving in from behind, but there's a kill against Falstad already, and this is just the start of it. This is, well, this is the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. We have Muradin down. There's also another kill against Uther. Uther is dead. Everybody dead and dying. And there's the GG already called, as we're having Get Amherd going straight for the Dragonite. And 27 minutes in, the Dragonite is just doing way too much damage. You cannot stop this. This is going to be it. We have Team Kinguin moving on into the next round of the tournament, which will actually be the semi-final here at the ZOTAC Cup. So really well played. With 1,000 and nearly 300 damage per hit, the core is just dropping within seconds. Job well done, GG, and well played. Kinguin takes down the Goofers here on Dragon Shire. And Kinguin, they take it. Solid job by them. You could really see that it was difficult for the Butcher to find a target. Every time that onslaught happened, we either saw Tassadar shifting into the phase shift, or instead just simply someone blinking away from him. We also, of course, had other heroes escaping in these cases, and Johanna could use her trait. Like, it was really difficult for them to really get that lockdown going, and it just shows that while the Butcher is a very strong hero, he really requires a certain setup, and in this case, they didn't get that opportunity. Kinguin just playing a very smart game, very good positioning also, and always keeping in a spot where they could isolate either the Butcher or at least keeping their squishies far away, so there was no chance to actually take one of these heroes down early on and then turn it into a 4 versus 5. Very solid performance by Kinguin. They take the game and therefore advance in the tournament. Hope that you guys liked the content and especially the commentary here today. If you did, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, and of course subscribe to Khaldor TV if you haven't done that yet. Gonna see you guys soon with more content here on the channel, so have a good one. Bye bye.